Well, I'm ready when you are. Are you ready? Phil under control here. I'll let him finish his sentence because he's got a good story. Yeah. Okay, we will call the Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting to order. I'd be looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Walls. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to our first opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am John Felveri. Good morning to all of you. I'm currently the Jackson County Airport Board Chairman. I support and I seek your support and recommendation to the full Jackson County Board of Commissioners for reappointment to the Airport Board. Jackson County relies on its many committee volunteers to serve the needs of not only the county government, but its citizens also. I have chosen to direct my volunteer service to the Jackson County Airport. I have faithfully and diligently carried out those duties as evidenced by my various positions of past service on the Jackson County Airport Flight Fund, the Airport Advisory Council, and for the past 10 years, the Airport Board. Other airport activities have included the Director of Aviation Technology at Jackson College, fundraising for the Airport Heritage Park, and organizing the Aircraft Flight Air Show when the Hot Air Jubilee was held at the airport for many years. I also presently serve as the airport representative to the Jackson County Transportation Policy Committee. I have had the good fortune of working with two wonderful airport managers, Kent Maurer and Juan Zapata. During the past 10 years, I have been involved with major runway and terminal apron expansion projects that these managers have overseen. The success of these projects has relied on good working personal relationships with the FAA, MDOT, and Jackson County government. I was on the search committee that eventually selected Juan as our new airport manager. He and I have worked very well together over the last years in seeking federal grant funding, state funding, and local funding for our various airport projects and equipment purchases. Being an airport board member is more than attending once-a-month meetings. It is developing the interpersonal relationships and mutual trust with the various airport hangar and aircraft owners and businesses on the airport. I am the representative and go-to person on the airport board. I have been thankful for that trust and once again seek your support and recommendation for reappointment to the airport board. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. And I wish all of you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Brings us to committee item A. I need approval of minutes.
Support.
Moved by Snell, supported by Duckham. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. That takes us to appointments. Today we have a few appointments. The first is for the Airport Board. The current member is Mr. Feldveri. There are two applicants, Mr. Feldveri and Mr. Gady. I'd be looking for a motion. That's a nomination for Feldveri from Commissioner Duckham. Any other nominations? All in favor of Mr. Feldveri, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Feldveri will be the committee recommendation. Takes us on to Region 2 Planning Commission. There are two public seats. Current members are Colby Winters and Rick Seeger. Rick Seeger is the only applicant at this time. I'd be looking for a motion to forward Mr. Seeger.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bear, supported by Commissioner Duckham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Seeger will be the committee's recommendation. Takes us to the Planning Commission. Currently, we have a citizen at large as Tim Burns. There is no applicant at this moment. We'll notify him to see if he's still interested. The environmental representative is Mr. Gady, Roger Gady. He has also applied. Be looking for a motion for Mr. Gady.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Snell, supported by Commissioner Bear. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Mr. Gady will be the committee recommendation. Takes us to the Sheriff's Waterloo contract renewal. Hello, Sheriff.
Morning. This is a request from Waterloo to have a 5-year contract. If you recall last year, well, still this year actually, they wanted a contract for 1 year to try us out, and I'm happy to report that they were happy with us, so they went to their voters and got a millage approved, and now want a 5-year contract with the Sheriff's Office.
Committee members, do we have any questions? Commissioner Duckham.
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Brings us to the prosecutor Concord contract. Coming today? Deborah, have you heard from?
No, I did speak with him and confirmed with him, because this was originally on the January schedule. I did speak with him verbally and confirm that he did want it on December. So I confirmed the date with him verbally.
Commissioners, if you are comfortable, without asking questions, I'd be looking for a motion to send this to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bear. Support by Commissioner Walls. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. That was Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Duckham as nays. Passes. Takes us on to Emergency Manager Quarterly Report. Hello, Jason.
Morning, everybody. This is the quarterly report for emergency management. I wanted to make sure that I kind of highlighted some of the bigger activities that we did throughout the last quarter, that I did throughout the last quarter. One thing I wanted to bring up to you guys was the Jackson County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. As you are aware, we submitted for a grant 2 years ago, received that grant. It was ultimately awarded to Region 2 Planning Commission to complete the hazard mitigation plan. This is the all-encompassing plan for the entire county, to include all the villages, townships, that type of stuff. Our plan was submitted to the Michigan State Police. Their hazard mitigation planning analyst reviewed our plan. Ultimately, there was quite a few things that needed to be added to the plan. So Region 2 Planning Commission is back working on that. So I've been kind of guiding them a little bit throughout the plan. I have to be careful with it. I can't get too involved because of my position as already being partially grant funded. So I've been helping them as much as I can, but nonetheless, I think we're still on target for our completion date. We will ultimately, that'll get submitted to FEMA and then final approval, and then we'll bring it to the Board of Commissioners for review and final approval once that happens. Critical infrastructure, key resources, seeker project. This was something that I had mentioned also previously. I just wanted to update on this. We have completed that for Jackson County. It was the first sector. This included water, energy, transportation, communication, emergency services, and nuclear. We identified our critical infrastructure throughout the entire county, villages, townships as well. But those sectors that I listed were the first go-round. We will have additional sectors coming up in 2022 that we have to identify. This is protected information. It does not go out to the public, so addresses, locations, latitude, longitude, that type of thing is what that report is about. Ultimately, that report gets sent to the state. The state is combining some information, and ultimately that will be to the feds as well. Moving down to communications tower exercise. Sorry, I try not to put too many acronyms in here. AAR stands for After Action Report. I meant to put that in there, and obviously I didn't, but the AAR on that, I'll talk about the exercise here in a little bit, but we did complete that exercise on the 26th, and then ultimately I was able to complete the After Action Review for gaps identified, things that went well, things that we can improve upon. But all in all, the takeaway from that is it was a great exercise, and like I said, I'll elaborate a little bit more on that in the next couple of slides. Moving down to Fifth Street Dam Emergency Action Plan Review. This was kind of a hot topic over the last few years, especially with a lot of the concerns for potential flooding in our area. Obviously, the Fifth Street Dam in Michigan Center is one of our high hazard dams. Matter of fact, it's probably the highest hazard dam. The second high hazard is in Brooklyn by the old Goodyear plant there. But this, I've been working with Mr. Linneberry at Leone Township, trying to get him up to speed as far as, they had a plan, but it was quite antiquated. So putting him in, made some connections with him along with Eagle, representative on their dam safety unit. So, Commissioner, go ahead. Eagle is there's a dam safety unit. Eagle is really the group that has the teeth in it. They can recommend, the way everything is written, it's just simply a recommendation, unfortunately. There's not a whole lot of, from a civil liability end of it or potential criminal liability down the road, I think if something were to happen, then it becomes an issue, but as far as pre-disaster, there's really not a whole lot. Usually when I get a pre-disaster mitigation grant, I send those out to all the township supervisors, send them out, I believe a lot of times to you, all of you as well, to try to encourage these places to do some pre-disaster mitigation stuff. This particular dam, I don't know if Leone actually applied for it or not. I don't know the funding side of that piece, but there were other funds available for improving dams and stuff like that. So. Right. Fortunately for us, knock on wood, the capacity behind our dams here in Jackson County aren't near what Midland had. So if we do have a full structural failure on, say, the Brooklyn or the Michigan Center Dam, for the most part, I'm not going to say it won't take away houses and, loss of life, but I think the severity of it would be a lot less than what we saw and experienced in Midland. Just because of the amount of volume behind it, and then the right. Yep, you're welcome. So that, like I said, that plan, I reviewed that, sent that back to Mr. Linneberry and his team. So I know they are working on that. It was a good plan, a lot better than what they had in the past. Moved down to North American Active Assailant Conference. A couple conferences that I attended over the last quarter. I attended this October 14th and 15th in Troy. A lot of times these conferences for emergency management are debriefs on significant events that have happened. Oakland County sponsored this as well. And obviously, we all know the unfortunate incident that took place over there 2 weeks ago. A lot of this conference focused on administrative and operational changes and lessons learned during the debriefs. Moving down to International Association of Emergency Managers Conference. I attended that in October 17th to the 20th in Grand Rapids. This is a unique conference that we're fortunate to bring to Michigan. They go on I think it's a 4-year cycle. In the last, this is the second time they've been to Michigan. But this brings emergency managers from around the world and also around the country to centralized location. Again, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of flooding, climate change, human trafficking, active shooter training, contacts with the FEMA administrator for emergency management. And one of the big things that they, at this conference, was the U.S. Capitol insurrection and the lessons learned from that, from a 911 standpoint, also emergency management, and local law, police and fire services as well. So those were both good conferences that I attended, and also able to bring some stuff back to us locally. Next slide, please. Just an update on Homeland Security grant programs. These are the grants that we utilize through our local planning team to try to provide additional equipment for our local first responder agencies, along with any needs that we face or we can identify throughout the county that we can help out with. As you can see, unfortunately, the number or the dollar amount that we receive from this funding has drastically gone down. Right after 9/11, these funds were $700,000-800,000. We were able to put up some, at that time, prior to me being in this position, we were able to put up some communication towers, things of that nature. But obviously, our funding is drastically reduced. As you see for FY21, our amount is tentative. It will get signed upon next week at our regional board, but that's looking like what it's going to be. Just an update on some of the project that we've funded through LPT. Special Response Team vests. There was a regional project that I was able to get a hold of and provide vests for the Sheriff's Office Special Response Team members. So that was already taken care of. Locally, we are supporting the Special Response Team members of city and the City Police Department in Blackman Township, Blackman Leone. So they're getting their vests. I believe they're on order and should receive those hopefully soon. Another project we supported was the Special Response Team Throwbot. Excuse me. This is the piece of equipment identified in this picture here on the slide. Moving on to Special Response Team SUAS. That's small unmanned aerial system, technically a drone. They don't like to use the word drone, so it's called the SUAS. That was also approved recently, like last week, by FEMA. So that project is a go, and be nice to provide some necessary equipment for our Special Response Team members. Jackson County E-Rail equipment, that's the animal trailer that I spoke to you all about in the past. I was able to provide them with additional equipment. One of the big things that they're getting, or that they received rather, is it's called a SKED, S-K-E-D. I apologize, I don't know what that acronym stands for, but it's a device that they can put under large animals, whether it's on the highway, freeway, or roadway, whatever, where they can slide this equipment underneath an animal and allow it to be moved to another location out of harm's way. So it's nice to be able to support these projects like that through Homeland Security Grant Program. Next slide, please. Some of the training exercises that I did over the last quarter. Citco Terminals tabletop exercise. Every year we partner with, we don't partner, I attend rather, Citco Terminals on Mall Road. Between them and Marathon, they do a full-scale or tabletop exercise. This year was a tabletop on October 6th, 2021. It was a worst-case scenario exercise. We bring local partners, local first responder agencies, 911, emergency management together, so we completed that exercise. Agriculture emergencies training, managing farm tractor and machinery emergencies. This is a training that I'm bringing here to Jackson County on June 3rd and 4th. I had an awareness level course back in June of this year at Henrietta Township. The awareness level is good. It kind of provided some information, to first responders, but this is the second version, or the second training in this series. This is more of a hands-on type training, more of operations level. So we'll be rolling over tractors, combines, that type of stuff. So that's coming up in June. Nice thing about that, it's sponsored by OSHA, so it'll be no cost to attend for us here locally. Some other trainings that we're looking at hosting, the grain bin awareness training. I've kind of focused out a little bit on some agricultural trainings, just because, the area that we live in. We don't get a lot of them, but when we do, they're usually, it takes a all-hands-on-deck type approach for response. So I think it's good to be able to bring these type of things here. So grain bin awareness training is one that I'm trying to bring here locally. Just waiting on the paperwork for that to come in. Additional exercise plannings for 2022. We're just kind of, one of the main things we're looking at doing several tabletop exercise throughout this upcoming year. One of them is going to be a chlorine leak, chlorine spill type tabletop. Bring all the key players together for that one. And then another one we're looking at doing, we're going to be working with the fairgrounds as well, doing another tabletop scenario type stuff over the summer. So we're always looking for ideas. Putting together an exercise usually takes a little bit of time, so if there's something in your community or something that's kind of on your guys' radar, please reach out to me and say, hey, this is an idea for a training, and we'll be more than glad to see what we can do with it. Next slide, please. Communication tower full-scale exercise. This was a pretty fun exercise that we conducted. Commissioner Bear attended as well. Thankfully, it was a nice sunny day. Bluebird sky. It was actually perfect. This was kind of a twofold exercise. Jason Hammond in 911 needed some radio, the VHF equipment off the tower. There was some antennas and dishes up top. Instead of paying for a company to come in, I had the idea of, hey, let's utilize this as a training exercise. We can simulate, that the dishes were my idea, I'll just tell you the scenario. It ended up being a paraglider was in the area, got hung up on the tower. We simulated the dishes as the paraglider. A passerby called 911, so we ran it through like a real life event. So we had the 911 call. We had to throw a terrorism nexus in it. So we basically said that the caller that called 911 mentioned that the gentleman had a backpack, and he kept telling 911, hurry up before this explodes type thing. So we kind of threw that out there as a, just a terrorism nexus to kind of get people thinking, well, we're not just responding to somebody entangled in a tower. The build up to this exercise, it was perfectly timed actually, and this was to no credit of mine. I was receiving information from the state and Critical Infrastructure Protection Desk that they were especially in the UP and northern Michigan, they were getting notes at radio communication sites about how it's harming the environment and how it's we're going to blow up your tower. And these were actual real threats. So this just kind of worked out well. We were able to send that stuff out, and then knowing that we had our exercise coming up. Excuse me. Some of the key players in this one. Jackson County 911 Central Dispatch, Napoleon Fire, Jackson County Fire Chiefs Association, Jackson County Urban Search and Rescue. This is a specialized team, USAR team. I can't give credit enough to these men and women that were there, that they climbed these towers. There was, I think, 4 or 5 of them that went up. Actually, one gentleman went up. He was the first one up and last one down, and it was like a 5-hour exercise. So he stood, obviously tethered in, but nonetheless, you're climbing. This was a shorter tower, 150 feet. It was quite remarkable to see. I think you'd agree, Commissioner Bear, that it was pretty impressive the way they would go up and down that tower like it was nothing. So it's awesome to have a local resource such as USAR team. It's an expensive program. Luckily for now, Summit Township funds it. They're supportive of it, and through Homeland Security and our HSGP grant program that I talked about earlier, we're able to give them some equipment here and there, but it's an outstanding resource that we have locally. Thankful for them. Also on this one, we had a gentleman from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Region 5. He's the Critical Infrastructure Protection Specialist, so it was kind of a big deal to have him there. And he had never been involved in an exercise like this. He was going to take it back to his counterparts in Washington and let them know how well we did on this and how awesome it was. So it was kind of a kudos and a plug to Jackson County for that. Also, like I mentioned, Commissioner Bear was there, and then obviously myself and for emergency management. Next slide, please. Excuse me. These are just some pictures. As you can see, had a great group. All the USAR team was very helpful when it came to questions. They showed equipment, and it was neat because we had Napoleon Township Fire Department there as well. A lot of the young firefighters were there and kind of brought a lot of interest from Napoleon, and I know there's talk about opening up the USAR team to not just Summit and the city, but opening it up to countywide fire agencies. So it's kind of a good networking event, if you will. So, any questions on the exercise at all?
Committee members, do we have any questions?
All right, next slide, please. Last but not least, back in October at the International Association of Emergency Managers Conference, I was fortunate, I was nominated, thank you, Deborah, nominated through the Michigan Emergency Management Association. I was nominated, and I ultimately received the award for the entire state of Michigan for the Emergency Management Professional of the Year for population greater than 60,000. So I appreciate that, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions? If none, I would be looking for a motion to accept his report.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bear, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
This takes us to item number F, the Animal Shelter Addition ARPA funds, and I believe Lydia's here. And Rick.
Good morning. I want to know what you did to everybody, that everyone's sitting in the back of the room. What'd you do to everybody? They're all in everyone's in
I made
the
him
back.
nervous. I didn't have my coffee.
Making room for all the
Crowd? Okay. Okay. So, we're here before you to talk about the shelter addition. As you know, that was approved by the board, that we are able to do an addition for the needed reasons of disease control, making it a more acceptable place for our employees of the county to work, where currently there's really no place for them to have a lunch, hang their coat. We have one bathroom. We have a professional, our veterinarian has to do her work on a chair in the lobby in her lap. So there's a lot of reasons why the shelter isn't quite fitting the needs of what we do there every day, for the sake of the animals' safety and health, and the employees just having an acceptable environment to work in. We're really excited to be able to do an addition. With the rising cost of construction work, that's something that's going to be put off for a little while. We wanted to request the use of ARPA funds for addition. We have currently saved over $1 million for the building addition, a renovation, I should say, but we are asking for $1.5 million of the ARPA funds to be able to go ahead and get started on that project a little sooner. And that's where we're at.
Okay, Commissioners, we covered this a little bit in study session. Do we have any questions? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Wall, supported by Commissioner Bear. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
That will take us to your quarterly report.
Okay. So we had a busy quarter this year. We've had 3 Bissell events in this last quarter. The October event was scheduled nationally, and Bissell held a special event for us in November that was just specific to JCAS. And twice so far we have been able to empty all the dogs. The cats constantly are coming in, but we were able to empty the kennels of all the dogs in both events. So that was a very exciting time, and we're so appreciative to Bissell to help promote our animals at JCAS and help get them adopted. We are currently in the middle of a Bissell event now. It started last week and will run for one more week. We did 74 adoptions at the shelter last week. which is a really good number. So we have animals moving in and out pretty quickly right now.
Have any questions, commissioners? If none, you do, Commissioner Walls? No? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to accept the report. Moved by Commissioner Walls, supported by Commissioner Duckham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
That takes us to item H, Airport, Michigan Department of Transportation, Aeronautics, Subgrant Number JXN 13021 for the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriation Act. Hello.
Good morning, Commissioner Kennedy, Council. This is a request to approve a grant from the CRISA Act to the airport. And this is money that's been allocated specifically via the FAA to airports throughout the United States. And in this particular grant, we're asking to accept $57,162 to be used for airport operations.
Commissioners, do we have any questions? If not, I'd be looking for Commissioner Bear.
The funding source for this?
This is the federal government, and it came from it's the MDAT Aeronautics Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriation Act. This was the act that was passed by President Trump just before leaving office in December.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, commissioners? If there's not, I'd be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Bear, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. That takes us to item I.
This is a request to buy a rotary wing cutter, and this request is dependent on the approval of the grant money in the previous item. So this is, we're looking to replace a 1996 John Deere 15-foot rotary cutter, and we did the research and we put out the bids, and the best bid was the one that came back, which is from the Woods Cutter for $21,121, and that's via the Michigan My Deal program. And this is something that's badly needed at the airport with the amount of mowing that we do.
Do we have any questions, commissioners? This is an action item, and I'd be looking for a motion. Moved by Commissioner Walls, supported by Commissioner Duckham. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us down to the property lease renewals for the airport.
Okay, Commissioners, we have 22 ground leases for private hangars that are coming up for renewal at the end of December. And these are leases that were put in place in 2001. And per paragraph 3, unless there's been an issue with the maintenance of the building, there's not too many options for the county other than going to a legal action to renew the ground leases. So this is a standard ground lease renewal that we're putting in place, requesting to renew the leases for another 20-year term that will go from January 1, 2022 until December 31st, 2042. These ground leases do have annual increases per the CPI. Any questions?
Any question, committee members? Be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Walls. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Takes us to Jackson County Department of Transportation, Lakewood Ridge Reserve Acceptance. Hello, Angela.
Good morning. All right, so our first item is a subdivision. It's a private road subdivision that approached us to see about their roads becoming a public road. So we've evaluated the road. We worked up a cost estimate to do a recycling, whether it be a crush and shape or a cold in place recycling on it. The residents have passed a petition around and signed it and are willing to pay 100% for those costs. So right now, we're asking the board to vote on, once the construction's done, that we will take it into the system. And we do that now because the residents most likely don't want to spend all that money if we're not willing to do that. So we will come before you after construction with another resolution for the Act 51 designation as a public road.
Committee members, do we have any questions? Commissioner Duckham.
Good morning.
Does the county not do a match on these?
No, this is not a public road. So these are 100% private roads right now. Once we do this and it's in our system, then we would provide match on further construction.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Commissioner Bear?
Good morning, Angie.
Good morning.
Once we accept these as public roads, how does that impact our maintenance costs for maintaining these?
We would have an increase in maintenance for snow plowing. It's a subdivision, so typically there's not mowing costs. The residents would continue their maintenance for mowing. We would get the Act 51 per mileage cost that is supposed to cover that snow plowing activity. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Walls?
So this one is a paved road already. It's a curbed road, so it would be a 70-30 according to the policy right now, and the township is aware of that. We have talked to them, and they support this becoming a public road and them having that potential 70% match.
Committee members, any other questions? If not, I would be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Wallace, supported by Commissioner Bear. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Takes us to the Spring Arbor Road RSA.
All right, so this is one of our RSAs that we got safety grants for. It will bring a third party in to come and look at the section of the road to make recommendations on safety grant improvements for it, and then we'll apply for additional safety grants for those improvements. It is a $16,000 grant, and then we put $4,000 into it.
Committee members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Bear, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Takes us to Jackson County Department of Transportation Fall Protection.
All right, so this item is a safety-related item. We are asking the board to approve the upgrades for our fall protection and related items for our asphalt storage tanks that we have. We're asking to approve safe racks for a cost not to exceed $97,185. Now, there's two portions to this bid. The first one is the catwalk around the structure. When that was installed, we didn't know at the time, but we found out from the training we've been at that it doesn't follow the trip hazard portions and different things of the OSHA regulations. So we did go out and talk to different contractors. We talked to 4, and 2 of them did put quotes in. RJ Weldon quoted us almost $30,000, and the Safe Rack was $55,000. We've evaluated those 2 systems, and Safe Rack is a modular type system, so it could be used in different situations if things changed at JCDOT. We could use them at different storage tanks or different things that need a catwalk. And then the other advantage is if it unfortunately was hit, the repair should be less costly because it's modular and we can replace just a portion of it instead of having to have the entire structure worked on potentially because it's fabricated on site. The other one is. It lists the different safety elements that we're improving. Trip hazards is one of them. And then the control panels, I don't know if anyone's seen them, but we do have the control panels down inside more of a confined space by the tank. So this is moving everything up on the catwalk that's regularly used so people don't have to get down there. The second portion of this item is a modular platform to be able to safely load our tankers. So right now, unfortunately, our guys kind of hang off above the tanker. So you've got the tanker and you're filling a hole on top. They're kind of hanging there getting the liquid asphalt in there, very hot liquid asphalt. So this is a platform that extends out on an arm that they would safely stand on and be able to load it safely. And another advantage is that it also would change to whatever height truck is under there. Because we looked into the idea of building a structure they drive under and we just stand on it and load, but that would be a stationary height. And then if any trucks were different heights, taller or shorter, it would adjust to it. So the bottom line is, we looked into all the systems and we are recommending to go with Safe Rack systems for both components. You'll see in the write-up that if we go with both, there is going to be a cost savings. We don't know what it is yet, but they believe it would be between $5,000 and $10,000. So we're asking for approval not to exceed the $97,185.
Committee members, do we have any questions? Commissioner Walls first.
No, 3 winters ago, 3 winters ago, I think.
Commissioner Walls, will you turn your mic on, please? Thank you.
When these tanks were purchased, and why weren't they, brought up to safety standards then as compared to now, 3 years later, after the fact?
I think the bottom line is we didn't know. Our guys fabricated what we have there, and they thought they were following OSHA standards. We just recently went to a training where we found out otherwise.
Well, but I can imagine that these tank builders would have an idea as to what's required to put these installations in. And I question the fact that, that's not been done. I wondered if there was any responsibility that the tank manufacturer couldn't help us out with some of this stuff, seeing as how they took a lackadaisical approach to building them.
So the tank manufacturers only installed the tank. We didn't ask them to do any of the other items, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I may, just, what we did was we bought the tanks, they installed the tanks, and then we thought we were going to save some money and have our own people fabricate from raw metal
Yeah.
this whole system. And our guys, while they're great at fabrication, they didn't fully appreciate the OSHA laws, and in all honesty, we didn't build it correctly, so.
And in defense of our guys, because we went to asphalt places, a lot of them also did the same thing. But we're aware now of the safety concerns, and we feel an obligation to improve them before going back into operation. Yeah.
Yeah, the effect's the same. Bottom line is, we were trying to save a couple bucks, and in the end, you get what you pay for. We should have went ahead and bought a modular system to begin with. Fair enough. Fair enough.
He did come out and tromp in the mud and see what we were talking about to understand why we're asking for this expenditure.
Yeah, that was last week.
Yep.
Commissioner Bear.
I guess I do not recollect when we were discussing these tanks and the constructing the secondary containment walls around them and the slab that they had to set on. I don't recollect ever hearing that our own staff was going to be responsible for building the safety equipment or the access. maybe that was in there, I don't recollect that conversation at all. So sometimes I question, we take on certain things ourselves, but we need to do a better job of making sure that the safety requirements are met. And adding on to what Rod had talked about, the manufacture of these tanks, they put these all over. That installation was not unique to us, so I have experience at many places. I would have expected them to have MIOSHA and OSHA compliant drawings and equipment go along with this. In the future, if we're going to buy 80% of a system and we have to build 20% of the system to provide the safety features, I would like that to be more strongly emphasized when you present to us exactly what our obligations are. And have we gone back to the manufacturer and asked them about any of this OSHA and MIOSHA requirements?
I believe we have talked to them over the years about different concerns. I can't speak, I do not remember what was in the board docs to be able to answer all of your concerns, but I can tell you that we agree 100%, and our team is looking at the big picture on all items that we're bringing forth to you to make sure that we're incorporating all parts of the project. Even if we plan on doing some of it with our guys, we'll have it laid out for you so you know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to support this because our guys need this safety equipment. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just looking more for future considerations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Duckham.
I'll bet the administrator didn't stick his finger in the asphalt, see if the temperature listed was correct.
No, he'd be hurting if he did. Actually, they're emptied now, so he'd be
Still in
okay.
defense of the road department. MIOSHA and OSHA, they don't come and give you rules updates and, it's after the fact that they notify you of the rules, has been my experience. So,
Yeah. We actually were proactive in sending an employee to the training for this. I don't know that they really issue anything to us, so we try to keep up with it as much as possible.
it's a difficult job keeping
It
up with
is.
MIOSHA,
It is.
unless they bring their fine book, their ticket book. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Just more of a comment. I appreciate, although this is a kind of an expensive fix, but I do appreciate the fact that there was an opportunity to try to save some dollars, and that was done. I just wanted to say I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, committee members? If not, I would be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board. Moved by Commissioner Wall, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. That takes us down to a budget amendment.
All right, so we have our 2021 budget amendment. This is to reflect our projected revenues and expenditures for the year. We have not done an amendment since the proposed budget was put in place. So looking at our revenues, you'll see that they're down approximately $10 million. This is in part because we received 4.9 of Blackman's money late December. When we wrote the proposed budget, we thought we'd be receiving it in '21. So that was accounted for in '20 and not in '21's revenues. And then we had a decrease in township participation projects through the year with the other townships besides Blackman, Spring Arbor, and Summit. And then we did have grant projects that moved forward to '21 due to a couple different things. One is the trail with the parks. That $3.some million project is moving forward to '21 instead of '20, just for design purposes. Territorial and Clark was obligated and has a contractor ready to do it, but it's being paved in '22. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong year, '22. And then we had our McCain-Robinson federal aid, but the Robinson portion's going in '22. So those are all revenues that are being moved to '22's revenues, decreasing about $10 million. And then when you go to our expenditures, they're down about 9.5. We had, so for the 9.5 million expenditures being down, we did have contracts committed for 2020, the MDOT contract, sorry, brain fart. We had MDOT contracts committed prior to knowing our revenue losses. We had about 1.7 in revenue losses in 2020. And as you guys know, our MDOT contracts come before you way before they start, so we were committed to those, and we had to still carry through with all of those contracts. So we did have that. And then for the bottom line for our expenditures, you'll see that we have our excess revenue, which means our expenditures were higher than expected. Those are due a lot because of COVID. I know you guys have heard that over and over, but we had a lot of different implementations we had to put for COVID, like where we'd normally send 2 people in 1 truck, we had to send 2 trucks and 2 people. So our project costs were increased because of COVID protocols. Pretty much all of 2020 and the majority of 21. And then you look at our beginning fund balance there, that is the 4.9 Blackman money that we received early. That's why that's down. And then along with our 1.7 million in MTF revenue losses. Any questions?
Questions, committee members? This is an action item, so I'd be looking for a motion to approve the budget amendment. Moved by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Bear. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously, and that will take us down to your monthly report.
All right. All right, so, sorry. All right, I can flip for me. All right, so our first one is just our map you've seen a few times throughout the year of our construction projects. I'll point out that the yellow lines are purely restoration shoulder gravel that we're trying to get done. I know they're hard to see, sorry, Corey. I see you squinting. There's a couple, and it's shoulder gravel and restoration that we're doing on projects that were completed late. The next one is a beautiful picture of our Matthews Road project in Spring Arbor Township. I think when I was here last month, the commissioner brought up the curve on the road and that it's not delineated. We have been out there, did the study, and we'll be getting the the plaques out there with the recommended speed for those curves here shortly. I believe Brett said it was a 35 recommendation. The next picture is our crews doing our manholes, and we put this in here. It's a part of a project that seems pretty meaningless, but if you've ever drove over a manhole that doesn't get leveled nicely with the new pavement, it's a real pain. So I wanted to highlight this. Our crews work hard on that. It's a piece of specialized equipment that when we bought it 2 or 3 years ago, we weren't sure if it was going to work, but it's working great. We're able to do the adjustments for probably half the cost of a contractor, and it gets pretty expensive. Sometimes, depending on how many on a project, it can get up to $5,500, $6,000 per structure, so it's a good cost savings to have. The next one is a picture of our Hopcraft Road re-gravel. This is our crews. This was a local share project, and per policy, that's a 50-50 cost share with the township to re-gravel gravel roads. The next slide is our salt barn project. You can see we've got our walls up, and they'll continue to work on that as weather allows. That again is 100% funded by MDOT for salt, the MDOT salt we store at our site. And that is up on the hill, in case everyone is curious. If you're at JCDOT and you know our 2 already fabric structures that we have built, it's the road between there that takes you back to see that. If you ever want to come see it, we will show it to you. Then we have the slide on our first snow event, which was that we were out plowing, which was that Sunday after Thanksgiving. We had crews out, I believe, about 4 a.m., and the majority were done by 1 o'clock. but it did cost us quite a bit of money. This is just the material costs here that you see for that November 28th storm event. Over $50,000 in materials put down in that time, and then if you remember Monday, it was pretty much gone. We were back out Tuesday. We'll have those numbers in next month's to show you, but my goal is to try to just keep you guys updated on the storm events as we have them in our monthly report. And then the last 3 slides is just reminders to get out to constituents about winter operations. We have our slide on Shake Your Mailbox, reminding everyone to go out and make sure your mailbox is structurally sound. Our plows typically don't hit it. It's normally the heavy, wet snow that knocks them down. But if you go out there and shake your box and it feels like it's going to fall, it's probably going to fall this winter. So you want to shore that up, get it, whether put a new one in or put some, I'm not exactly sure what people do to get their box right now with cold weather, but the next one is just a reminder, everyone hates, we get lots of calls about our plows coming in and putting the snow back in your driveway after you've shoveled. So it's just a little drawing showing if you clear that area in advance, then our trucks, when they come through, the snow will go there instead of your driveway, or minimize it. And then it makes everyone happy. Another reminder to give our plows space when they're out there, because they do stop and reverse and to clear that snow. So it says to give them about 70 feet or 4-car lengths when following them. And then just another one of different reminders, don't pass on the right. We do have, on some situations, we've got the side plows on the left and the right, so be cautious of that. They do have the lights on them, but, and then watch for the snow, or the salt bouncing a little bit. We try to minimize the bounce, but give us space. Any questions?
Any questions, commissioners? We'll go with Commissioner Duckham first.
I was talking to Commissioner Plesky, who was having conversations about some of these nice ideas you
Is
have.
your mic on?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
and I'll talk. Would it be possible to break these out by each item, like the mailbox, second shovel?
Yeah.
Put them on social media?
Yeah, we can do
I
that.
don't think people do things out of stupidity. They're just not aware. And these are some great ideas. It makes perfect sense.
Yep, we can do that.
Uh-oh.
We can put them on our website, social media, we'll get them out there.
Yeah, great idea in the mailbox. Shovel before, so, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Bye.
You're good, Commissioner Walls? Well, please put your mic on.
I have a constituent that's over on Greenwood Road that's took and put these nice little decorative posts right on the edge of the asphalt. Now, I'm kind of thinking that when a snowplow comes over there, he's going to clean them right out, and this guy's probably going to be mad. But is there a way that we can take and kind of just say, hey, these are going to be history here the next time it snows?
Yeah, if you want to text me the address, we can go out and talk to them. Typically, when you see, they're not decorative, but a lot of people will put just the wood stakes out there because they think that will keep us from deberming their yard or the plows getting the gravel or yard.
Well, he's got grass right out to the asphalt.
Yeah, so he's probably not wanting us to peel his yard. And I think that our plow drivers probably appreciate them as long as the residents understand that they might get taken out with heavy snow, just like mailboxes. In a heavy, deep snow, having those markers help, if we don't know where that road actually is.
Well, there's
But
no
we can talk to
question.
them.
Yeah. But I noticed that and I thought, this has got bad road all over it.
Yeah, especially if they're decorative. They probably really appreciate those and don't want them damaged.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions from committee members? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Commissioner Walls and supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That takes us to other business. We have claims. We need to pay those, and I'd be looking for a motion to do so. Moved by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to other minutes, of which there are none. Takes us to reporting schedule. And I don't see anything there, so we won't even discuss it. Takes us to the second opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Yes, sir.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, and John Felveri, Airport Board. I certainly want to thank you for your support and recommendation to the county commissioners for reappointment to the Airport Board. That's very meaningful to me, and I thank you for that. The other thing I want to talk about just for a second is, and Juan and I have talked about this, I certainly have the advantage of having Commissioners Walls and Duckham on my Airport Board, and they get to see firsthand what goes on out at the airport. And former Airport Board member Earl Pileski, who I see is also here, has served on the board also in the past. But I certainly Juan and I would like to extend an invitation to all of your commissioners, to all of you commissioners and or staff to come out and tour the airport and see exactly what goes on out there sometime. You deal with a lot of funding for the airport, and we want to see where your money is going and what goes on out there. Remember, this is an airport that earns about $19 million a year in revenue, so it's no small change out there. So we certainly appreciate your support for our airport, and I thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any more public comment? Any public comment? Last chance for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Takes us to committee member comments. Do we have any committee member comments? Wonderful. We will adjourn the meeting.